I'm going to open this up for some Q&A in just a minute from you guys. So if you have any questions on any of this, or you're wondering just something related to the resurrection, we can discuss it. Well, why is all this important? On Thursday, I got the oil changed in my car. And it was pretty neat. They brought into this place something they hadn't had before. They brought in this real comfortable furniture. I guess the owner of the place decided to get new furniture and take his old furniture and put it in there. And so I sat in this real comfortable recliner, leather recliner. And man, I just got back all the way and was so comfortable there and was just reading. Well, there was a guy sitting next to me on the leather couch, and he was just relaxing, chilling, and he was doing stuff on his smartphone. He was probably in his late 70s, early 80s. And I could tell by just watching him a little bit and what he was doing, he seemed like he'd been a successful guy, a business guy of some sort in life, just the way he carried himself. And, it just made me wonder, who had this guy been? Had he been an attorney, powerful attorney? Probably made a lot of good money in his life, probably carried a lot of personal power and had done a lot and maybe had a successful career. How many people had he helped or hurt in the process of it? And, what had he accomplished? He probably looked back on his career with great pride. Well, his car was ready before mine, and so he got up and he went over there, and he's, he and the guy behind the counter are talking. The guy behind the counter, a good guy, probably in his late 20s. And I just, as they're talking, I just wondered if that older guy, now in his late 70s, early 80s, was looking at that 20-some-year-old behind the counter and thinking, I'd give up my whole career now if I could just go back and just start over in my 20s again. This guy here has his whole life ahead. In the late 70s, early 80s, he knows he doesn't have many years left, and then life is going to be gone. He probably is looking back now and saying, I had a real good career, but nobody really remembers me. What did I do? What contribution did I make? Yeah, I had some fun and all of that. I ate some really good restaurants. I went to some really cool places all over the world. But, after I die in a few years, everybody's going to forget about me and go on with their own lives. And really, I won't really have made much difference at all. And thinking, gosh, if I could just be in my 20s again, what would I do differently? And I got to think, I just kept thinking about that situation. I don't know if that's what this guy was thinking, but I could see that happening. And I was thinking, gosh, that just challenges me. Now I'm turning 50 in a couple of months here. I want to make sure that I'm doing the best thing with my time. And I'm thinking, with the time I have, what am I doing with it? Where am I wasting time? Am I doing some things that I just really don't need to be doing? How much TV am I watching every night? Is there some better stuff that I could be doing with my time? When I get a couple of years from now, 20, 30 years from now, and I'm in the same shoes, if I'm still alive, as that guy was who was getting his car fixed the other day, what am I going to be thinking when I see that 20-some-year-old behind the counter? And I just got thinking, I just want to make sure I'm doing the best I can with my remaining years. Paul tells us to redeem our time, to make the most of it. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be full-time in ministry and be a pastor like Chuck or myself and do these kinds of things. But what are we doing that really make a difference? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many books we've written or how much money we made. All that matters, really, is what we've been doing for the Lord. How we're walking closely with the Lord. Are we living holy lives that are pleasing in God's sight? It's not just a matter of doing for the Lord. There are a lot of people out there working for the Lord, but they're living immoral lives. And I would say God probably just kind of brushes that all away on the judgment day. And say, I really don't care what you did for me there. Were you living for me? How holy were you? Did you love people? Did you love your neighbor as yourself? Did you love me with your whole heart, mind, soul, and strength? That's what really is going to matter. So I just want to challenge myself. I challenge us all here today. If Jesus really rose from the dead, and it looks like he did, then Christianity is true. God loves us. We're going to meet him someday. All of us in a relatively brief period of time from right now. And maybe this Easter we can walk away encouraged in our faith, for one, but also thinking, what are we going to do with the remainder years of our lives to make our lives count? God, what can I do for you? You created me, God, not for me. That's not why God created me. He didn't create me so I could enjoy my life. He created me for himself. So am I living for God in a way that's pleasing in his sight? And again, that's not necessarily full-time Christian service. Maybe you feel called to Christian service and full-time or part-time or whatever, go for it. Let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. It can be frustrating. It can be tiring. But since I've been in full-time Christian ministry since day after Thanksgiving of the year 2000, they've been the happiest years and most fulfilling years of my life because I feel like I'm doing something that really matters. That doesn't mean, you could be a franchise owner or a store owner or work in the mortgage business, and you'll impact people that I could never impact, that Chuck could never impact, you could never impact. But, so you don't have to be full-time ministry. Just do what the Lord is calling you to do. Maybe it's giving money to this ministry. Or maybe it's volunteering to help feed the poor in this ministry, helping Chuck out in different ways. Whatever it is, seek God on this. This is Resurrection Day. We have a lot to celebrate. Let's take this encouragement and make the best and the most of the rest of our lives. All right, let me open up for some Q&A. I'm guessing this is over at noon, or is it not? Okay. Something on the resurrection. Maybe you wonder about contradictions in the gospel, resurrection narratives, or how can we believe it in the 21st century or whatever. Yes, sir.
When Christ arose and he was walking, scripturally it says that he was walking, I think possibly by the Sea of Galilee, and he met one of the disciples. He said, "Do not approach me, do not touch me, I've yet ascended to my Father." Do you have any inspiration on that, or could you expand upon that?
Okay, that's in John chapter 20. And the context in which that happens, Jesus has been raised from the dead. John 20, no, I think it's Matthew 28, I'm sorry. Matthew 28, and the women are coming back from the tomb. The angel sent them back. The women see Jesus. He meets them.
The women, not one of the disciples.
Right. And they fall down and they're grabbing holding on to his feet. And what's interesting, back in the Da Vinci Code days, Dan Brown was saying Mary Magdalene was married to Jesus. And I just pointed out, but when she saw him, she fell down and grabbed his feet and stuff, said, and just holding on to him. And it's like, well, that just there tells you, if anything, they would have been dating, not married. Because once you're married, your wife never treats you that nice. So they're grabbing his feet. He says, "No, don't hold on to me." It's also in John 20 as well, when they see Mary holds on to Jesus now, and Jesus says, "Don't cling to me, because I'm sending to my Father, to your Father, to my God and to your God." So what does that mean? Why is that? And
does that mean that he was pure, and they were maybe disturbing that pureness between the resurrection and the ascent to his Father?
Yeah, so why does he do it? Does that mean he's pure and they can't touch him until he ascends to his Father? Well, we know the ascension takes place, 40 days later, because he's with them for 40 days. So, but later on, in that same chapter, John has Jesus inviting Thomas to touch him, right? So what's the deal here? It is a difficult question, and all we can do is speculate on it. I've been doing a lot of reading in the ancient literature recently. The Gospels, most scholars believe, are ancient biographies, according to the Greco-Roman tradition. So I figured the best way for me to understand what those biographies were like and what modern or ancient biography was like is to read all the ancient biographies of the period. There's 70 to 80 of them. So I'm almost halfway through them. And I'm learning a lot as I'm reading through them to understand what biography's like. By the way, the guy that I'm sharing a panel with on Wednesday at Widener, Craig Keener, that guy is so brilliant. And I mean, he knows all the stuff on ancient biographies. He's one of the experts in it. He's just a brilliant guy.